think of strategies, think of designs, implement, try to recreate. It's one thing to see somebody's work and want to do that, and it's another thing to try to recreate it and make it more unique. There's always a touch you can put to a design to make it unique, to bring out the perfection. So it will have your taste, it will have your own feel.
Hi, my name is Esther Salami, and you're welcome to another episode of Thursday Special. Our guest for today is Ugwu Chika, who is the CEO of Chix IX Designs shoes with over 4 years experience in shoe designing. Thank you so much for joining us on the interview.
My pleasure.
First of all, I would be asking what inspired you to start. Your company started December 8th, 2020, and this is like the end of the COVID-19 pandemic period, approaching the end, not like the end. So I would like to ask what inspired you to want to start designing shoes, making shoes at this time?
So prior to 2020, that was 2019, I think that was the year I learned the trade. So before 2020, people around me started asking me for an update as regards learning shoemaking, because the people around me knows I went into learning shoemaking, and so they started asking updates, and I made one design and people really liked it. I made one for myself and people really liked it. They were commenting on the shoe, and they were asking me if I could replicate and make one for them, right? So I had to start doing that, and when I saw that people love what I do, I started doing. I was so intentional. I was intentional about it. So I think that it was people's interest in regards to the shoes I do that made me want to start it in a very bigger way. So that's it.
Okay. Well, that's cool. So we're motivated by the persons around you to start. However, I know that in the first year of a lot of businesses, it's already they closed down, so they shut down, basically in the first year. So what made you skate through that first year, after you started? Because it's one thing to start, you're motivated, but I believe it takes much more discipline to go through. So what helped you, to scale through these challenges?
Okay, so should I say I was so focused. I was looking at the bigger picture. I kept getting inspiration from other bigger brands that make shoe. I kept looking at what they've achieved and how far they've come so far, and I wanted that for myself, right? So I think that fueled the inspiration, and I kept pushing. Most of the time, it was so difficult. It was not easy, I would confess, but yeah. So when I kept drawing inspiration from other bigger brands, I think that kept me on track and brought me where I am today.
So Chix IX Designs shoes is an online store. You don't have a physical store. What should you say is your most prominent challenge operating as an online store in Nigeria?
It's the session in trust from your buyer and yourself as a brand, because these people don't know you, they don't stay close to you, right? So they don't trust if they get to pay, because most of the orders comes in once you make a payment, right? So if you don't make a payment, we can't proceed to make the order. So they don't trust you enough to give you that payment, because they don't know if you're going to actually stick to making your order. They don't know you so well. So because there are a lot of scams, posting scams, and people sticking around trying to do a lot of these scammy things. So that would be a major problem for an online store, especially a startup, because mine is not so big, right? So I have I have to really put a lot of effort. Sometimes I tend to use my funds to produce, and then we get to send, right? It's a lot of hustle, but then I would say a trust is a bigger problem there.
So would you say between social media and referrals, word of mouth from some of the persons around you or from your clients, which has helped you thus far?
For me, it's more of referral. A lot of people put in good words for me, and then when they get my product and they've used it, they tend to refer. They tend to. I just get to see a pop-up message sometimes from my WhatsApp or something, and somebody's telling me this person referred me, and I
Yeah.
want you to make a replica of what you did for him or her. So referral is my major. Is the major for me. Yes.
Do you have a team, who handles several processes, in several parts of the production process?
Pretty much I do everything myself. I get
Wow.
my materials, I produce the designs, and then I implement, and then I do everything myself for now. So
Wow.
it's a small business. Sometimes when I have to mass produce, I have colleagues who also make shoes, and then I tend to put out words to them, and they come to help me to make the production, and then afterwards to just get to pay them for their service. Other than
Yeah,
that, I do
because I
everything
mean,
myself.
yeah, I was thinking that that's actually huge because you've made like over 300 shoes. I was going through everything about the company, and to think that you actually handle the bulk of your responsibilities, even though at times you delegate, is actually so huge. So is it like, would you say it's a passion, or would you say it drives you to do it? I know you were initially motivated for the person around you, but then there have to be something bigger, that drives you, to work this hard. What would that be?
I would say it's again, looking at the bigger picture. I am fixated at the future enterprise, what I want for myself in the future. I'm always looking at the other means, what happens over the years. So whenever this order comes, I tend to put in my best to do that. So, and because I give in my best, people tend to see how good and how quality those production are, and then they tend to refer, and it tends to bring more production. So that should be the reason.
So if you could go back to December 8th, 2020, and tell yourself something or give yourself a piece of advice, what would that be?
Good question. I I think it should be in line of me. I was so I was so I was so in need of creating a bigger brand. I always beat myself because when I look at other people work, I look at what others have achieved, and I looked at myself and look at the little I've done. I was I was not encouraged by the little I've done. So I was always beating myself, always wanting to get more. I was always wanting to, have it so big like others. So if I should go back to December 8th, I would tell myself it's a gradual process and there's no need to rush, because I was trying to get there as fast as I can, and I would tell myself that I would calm myself down and tend to take it gradually, because I think steady you win the race. So that would be
Yeah.
it.
Okay. So what would you tell aspiring shoe makers, shoe designers, and craftsmen? What piece of advice would you give them?
Okay. I would like to make this advice because I think it's going to help them. A lot of shoemakers, a lot of shoe designers are so um, obsessed with people work, and they are trying to boycott. So this is what I mean. People tend to not want to create their designs, right? They are so surfing the internet for people's design and not really sitting down to think of a means to create their own unique designs. So if you're a creator out there, if you're a shoe designer, a shoemaker out there, I would advise you to dive back a bit and think of strategies, think of designs, implement, try to recreate. It's one thing to see somebody's work and want to do that, and it's another thing to try to recreate it and make it more unique. There's always a touch you can put to a design to make it unique, to bring out perfection. So it will have your test, it will have your own feel, right? So that would be one of the major major advice I would like to put out there to upcoming shoemakers and shoe designers.
Oh, thank you so very much, Mr. Chika. I was enlightened, and you're doing a wonderful job. I was about to wrap up, but I didn't ask you this question. Where do you see Chix Designs shoes? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Okay. So 5 years. I don't know if it's going to be 5 years. Oh my God. Hello, can you hear me? Okay,
Sorry, I
so
didn't get you.
yeah, I was saying in 5 years, I'm going to open a walk-in store, and I will try to create an academy where we get to tutor and bring up other inspiring shoe makers in Nigeria, and upscaling my brand to go international, trying to make exports across Nigeria, across Africa, and even all over the globe.
Thank you so much. I really learned a lot, and I am grateful for your time. Joe. Thank you.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you have any question that you would like to ask, be sure to comment down below. Like this video, share it with your community.